The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. We're going to start the show like we usually do, looking at the DAX index. And as you can see, it's been in a little bit of a downtrend for quite some time. Boys and girls, we have to hold on just a second because my alerts are going wacko and I want to see what it's about. So give me 1 second here. And oh, it's nothing. It's just something that I forgot to turn off. Bear with me 1 second and it'll only take a second to do this. Give me 1 second. And it's actually, it's the British pound because it's just jumping around quite a bit. And then also the gold is heading lower, which is what we've been expecting for quite some time. Anyway, let's just get back to you'll see here the FTSE also has been in a relatively tight range. So that's another one that's interesting. Now, I wanted to, I've had several things that I wanted to talk about. One, we want to thank Norm Winsky for sending this chart of the Berlin Wall from November the 9th of 1989, and I would like to bring this up because this was the pattern that we were looking at here, and the main pattern that was there was if you'll look on the left-hand side, you'll notice how most of the planets were in the two houses. That was very important because if you look to the right side over there, that's where you find Jupiter, and that's where these big conjunctions and oppositions were occurring, and it made it, really, really something big was going to happen. I didn't know what it was going to happen, but I just knew that something big was going to happen. Now, I've been asked to, in an email, to describe how I got started with these aspects and stuff, and that goes back to 1986 when Dr. Ruth Miller told me that she had found some things that were related to astrology and the Fibonacci sequence, and she thought I'd be interested in those, and so I spent 7 weeks with her down in Sarasota, Florida, from the end of October until must have been about second week in December, and we went over everything and did all kinds of work. She was in her 70s then. She was about 70 then, and she could work the dog off of a donkey. I'll tell you, she's really had a lot of energy. But we went and did this. Let's just show you what happened. What we did was Twentyman and I were lucky when we were at Drexel. Drexel bought Twentyman a computer, because he wanted to do some research and we were making some money. So they basically got us a computer. This was 1977. There weren't many computers out there, and the one that Jim picked, of course, had to be something around 20 grand. And it had, I don't remember I'll have to ask Jim, but it was, now it's like a watch or something. But at that time it was really big. But we had all the data, going back through 1875. And then we knew Neil Michelson from the Astro Computing down in San Diego that had all of the aspects. So all we had to do was to go back and look at the stock market to see when an aspect occurred. And then we would go in and then check to see if this in fact occurred. Let me just give you an example of something like that. This comes out of my book, Astro Cycles, The Trader's Viewpoint, that I wrote back in 1987, somewhere around that ballpark. Let me just get this up here to show you. This is the actual stock market on its way up. And all I'm doing here is showing you the Mercury retrograde points. And remember, this was long before we had any of this real fancy computer stuff. So I had to do this, put these little arrows in by hand and take them to the print shop. And actually the people at the Cal Poly University did it for me. But that's what we did. We matched these up to see if in fact they did work. And what we had to do is we had to define whether there was going to be. You needed a minimum of 100 samples to be statistically correct. Some of these larger planets, you don't get that, like Neptune and Pluto and Jupiter, you don't get a lot of hits. But on the smaller planets, of course, Venus, Mercury, and Mars, and you get a lot of those. So that's the one, and especially the lunar ones. You get those there twice a month. Anyway, this is what we looked at, and we went through and did this and did all this research, and came out, and the book ended up being very, very popular. And in that year, I was asked to make the presentation at the Foundation for the Study of Cycles new building in San Diego, California. And that's pretty much, that was an S&P chart. Yes, Marshall, the problem is my Snagit does not pick out I can't vary the size on it. That's why it didn't come up. Those of you that have an interest in astrology, an interest in that book, I'm going to make a special offer for you. If you'd like to have that book, it usually sells for $45. I'll give it to you for $15, and also throw in the Planetary Harmonics book. And all that money is going to go to the gospel mission here in Tucson for dinner for the poor. And for $15, you feed a family of 4 people. So if you want those books, just drop me an email. And I'll send them out to you. You get 2 books for $15. They're usually $90, but this way we can feed a few people and have some fun at it. But that's how we did the work, and we did it, on a lot of different things. And later on, I did the book on planetary harmonics because of the fact that we were seeing things that repeat all the time that were related to these numbers of sacred geometry. And of course, during that time is when I met Bryce Gilmore, who added a whole lot of things that were related to, the sacred numbers of sacred geometry, and that lined up well with the astrology too, and that's how it all came to be this way. And believe me, when you hear the word astrology, don't be afraid of it, folks. It's just numbers. That's all it is. There's nothing more than that. They're just numbers between dates. Now, the zodiac, which is that mythical band above the earth that the ancients talked about, and it's in the pyramids and every place else, and just about any of the sacred sites around the world, we don't know where that comes from, but it has to come from somebody pretty smart. But those 12 signs are very important also. The reason why I brought this up today, because the question about it, and also the fact that we are under this time of Mercury retrograde, and we also had this full moon that occurred, and we also had the fact that the moon was at perigee. So those are extra powerful things that occur. So you want to be able to try to remember that these are just numbers. They're nothing more than that, and you want to be able to realize that when you're doing it. The gold, folks, we'll cover it just a little bit, but it does look like we are moving lower into that gold. And I do believe, I think the last price I saw in the Feb gold was around 1273, and I believe that we're probably going to get down to that 1243 level. I'm not sure where the exact low is, but nobody else is either. But the pattern sure sets up that that's what we could be looking at. I believe that if we look at this, gold, this is the weekly chart on gold, and what we've been waiting for is to see that if it will come down to this level of around, that would be the 78% retracement, and that would also equal the last move down, and we'll watch that very, very closely. So it does look lower, and also crude oil is beginning to break like we expected. So we'll take a break here, 877-927-6648.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live, and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we've been asked to take a look at copper. I posted two charts in there. The first one was the one that we use for the weekly newsletter for 24/7. As you can see, it's had a very bearish bias. If you look closely, you'll see that that was a perfect head and shoulders pattern when it made the 61% retracement up there at $3.13 a pound. We're now hit. We just went under $3 a pound here, folks. We're trading at around $2.98, down about $10. In March copper. So if you look at this really closely, folks, you're at some real critical support level here, because you have not only two ABCD patterns forming, but you're making a retracement from the previous low. So this should be an important spot here in copper. The caveat here, of course, is the fact that you're looking at a market that has gone straight south. And with that wide-ranging bar like that, that's a very dangerous sign. So you want to be able to, I would, don't try to pick the bottom in here, but, put a half-hour or 15-minute chart up and see that you can find a place to not risk more than, say, a penny and a half, which is $375. That would be the most I would want to risk on anything like this. And I certainly don't want to recommend buying it here. I would recommend covering short here, but I would certainly not just jump in and buy it just because of the fact that wide-ranging bar. Those wide-ranging bars are, they're really, they're very, very powerful. You don't want to stand in front of it. It's like trying to catch a falling knife. That's, that's not very, not very important. Someone's asked a question, what do you get for the $15 for the two books? You're going to get the book Astro Cycles, The Trading Viewpoint, which was my first book, and then my second book, which was Planetary Harmonics. You'll get both of those for the $15. And also I'll throw in the book by Amos Hofstadter that I wrote that was never published. I'll put that one in there for you too. It's it's a book about the greatest speculator, and it's a story about meeting his family and some of the things that he did. Anyway, we want to help some folks at the Gospel Mission. We're going to do it anyway, but if you folks want to do something like that, that would be great. We really don't realize how lucky we are until we go to a place like that and see, oh man, these people are really hurting. I don't know how they got in those conditions, but it's really tough to look at each day. Okay, let's move on to some of these other markets. We had an interesting market last night here in the Dow Jones Industrial Average on the E-mini E-mini Dow. If you look at this, the Dow was never down yesterday. It got down as low as minus 90 or plus 90. And then last night, you'll notice that we made a perfect 61% retracement. And since that time, we went up and we challenged that 24,400 level again, but we haven't quite made it. 2444 would be the ABCD structure on this. We haven't made a 382 level yet in either the Nasdaq nor the S&P 500. They have not made 382 corrections as of yet. Whether this is the big top or not, I don't know. All I know is that this Mercury retrograde is a big thing, especially when it happens, on the full moon with the big things that were happening at the lunar time. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to get Al Larson back on the show here, who wrote the book, Your Electric Life. And boy, if you don't get that book, you should go on, and he offers it for free. So if you want to know about the lunar cycles and stuff, go to moneytide.com, moneytide.com, and Al Larson, and you'll be able to get that book that he wrote. And it really describes, from what I think, is what really makes these things work as far as the energy of our body, which is 85% water, 15% minerals, and those minerals are what he thinks are the things that make these difference in attitude and stuff that we see when we have these full moons and new moons. Okay, off the soapbox here. By the way, Al has 2 double PhDs. He has a PhD in electrical engineering, and he also has a PhD in computer science. So he's one smart cookie. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We covered the. By the way, when the Dow was doing that 61% retracement, the S&P was making a 78% retracement. So that's a real interesting one to take a look at. Now, there's another one that we've been following for quite some time, and that is Microsoft. And I just wanted to, and this has been a weaker than market stock, but I wanted to bring this up here and show it to you today. Thank you, Marshall. Yeah, I appreciate your nice comments, and I'll send you the $15 instead of you sending it to me. Okay. By the way, Kelly said to say hi. We were talking about you yesterday. We look forward to seeing you guys down here in the spring. Okay, here is the here's Microsoft on a daily basis here. You'll notice that we topped back in October. And if we gap down today, folks, we closed at 81.08, and if we gap below 81, there's a potential that could leave an island reversal up there. I don't know if it's going to do it or not, but if it does, that is going to be a very, very negative pattern. In fact, it's one of the most bearish ones that you can find, just like it is bullish, on the other side. So just watch this Microsoft. I think it's going to be an interesting one. We were fortunate enough to get short that thing up around the 84 level, and now we move our stop to break even. But it's been a weaker than market stock. And it's basically the banking stocks that have been running this this run in the Dow because of Goldman Sachs and all these heavy, high-priced financial stocks have pushed this Dow to tremendous levels. As far as the New York Stock Exchange, we really didn't do any damage yesterday. We made a little bit higher high by just a hair's breadth. And you'll notice that we're right at that 1.618 going off of the 2015 high. So that pattern could still be valid. But the only thing you can really say here is if this is a top, it's related to this Mercury retrograde and the fact that we have this thing with the lunar things. By the way, folks, we're gonna diverge a little bit. If you remember the movie Trading Places when they were in the Heritage Club. And he said, ladies and gentlemen, there is something wrong with the Heritage Club. In the 200 years of the Heritage Club, we have a problem. And folks, guess what? After 200 years here at TFNN, we're going to break precedent, and we're going to have a guest back in the same week. Norm Winsky has been chatting with me. He's got some really interesting things to talk about that haven't been seen like forever, and he thinks it's worth his time, and it's certainly worth our time. So on Friday at the 9:30 hour, try to stay tuned because Norm's got some real special stuff coming in. And folks, I've known him a long time, and he's never asked to come on twice, so it must be pretty special. So he didn't tell me. He just gave me a little caveat that it was very, very important. So try to stay tuned for Norm on Friday. That'll be a very interesting one to to watch. So it will be quite a good show, I think, on Friday. And also, we're going to try to have Stan Harley on later this week. With his cycles, so we'll be able to look at, yeah. Well, I think it'll be good because he really knows this stuff. He's got a fabulous library on astro stuff, and the astro. Hey, speaking of astro stuff and hard to figure out, I'm watching Bloomberg this morning real early because I wanted to hear Jack Ma, who was on CNBC. I'll tell you about this later. 877-927-6648.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I was talking about watching Bloomberg, and I wanted to listen to Jack Ma because I think he's he's the Elon Musk of China. That's my opinion anyway. And when they asked him about Bitcoin, I was shocked. He said, I really don't understand it. He said, it looks like it's the real thing, but that's all he said. He didn't say anything more than that. He said, I really don't understand it. Let me explain something to you folks. If a guy like Jack Ma can't understand it, how does an old, codger like me figure it out? Well, it's not an easy thing because it's all brand new. There is going to be a John Jameson from the UK is going to put out a newsletter on this. It's really, I've seen the first issue of it, and it's really going to be interesting. I believe Bitcoin just hit 12,000 just a few minutes ago. I don't know what it means. All I know is it's something we ought to pay attention to. In a week, they're going to come out with the futures. That'll be interesting to look at, but it's getting some interest for sure. But it's really quite different. Whether it's tulip bulbs or not, I don't know, but there's enough people looking at it that it must mean something. John Jameson thinks that it's the internet you're looking at the internet like it was in 1990. So I think it's something is really that might be very, very interesting. Yeah, well, we have 40,000 or 100,000. Who knows what it could be, Marshall? But I don't know. All I know is John Jameson is one smart cookie, and this thing keeps going up. And I wouldn't want to be anybody trying to say. And it trades so beautifully, technically, folks. I mean, the retracements that we've had here over the last 3 or 4 days, every single one of the retracements in Bitcoin has been at 0.382 within a heartbeat, for heaven's sakes. I mean, so it must mean something. That's why I think we ought to pay attention to it. I remember when I first started looking at the internet in '95, when I first, I moved here in '94 in Tucson, and I met a really smart guy. The way to, you have to go to, Mr. Z, send me an email, and I'll send you John's program, and he'll show you how to do that. But he's going to, in his letter, he's going to show you exactly how you do it. It's really not, it's not very hard. I frankly would rather wait until the Merck futures come out, and the reason why is they are going to be a bid and offer market where the people actually have both sides of the money put up. I'm afraid of these things on the internet because you don't know exactly, these are not listed exchanges, folks. This is the wild, wild west. This really is. I mean, it's guns and guns and ammo type time, because it's really crazy. You don't know. I mean, there's 1,200 different cryptocurrencies, but it's not really. What am I talking about? This stuff I don't know diddly squat about it. It's not about cryptocurrencies. It's about blockchains. It's the technology of blockchains, which is the internet squared, is what John says it's all about. Anyway, there's too many other things to trade. And anyway, we're breaking down now in the euro, folks. We're almost below the that coveted 118 level. That tells us we're heading down to that that next level. Let me get this up here so we can take a look at it here, because I think we're going to be we're just getting ready to break it now. So that's telling us that 78% level has held in the see right here, someone's asking a question. We don't know yet, because they're asking about what happens if Bitcoin goes down the maximum limit. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. This is the wild, wild west. It might open and it might not trade for 3 weeks, either up or down. We don't know. That's why they call it a futures market. We really don't know. I don't know, but anyway, I only know 2 people that have owned Bitcoin. One is almost from the very beginning, 2011. A fellow over in the UK who's a financial reporter did an article on me a few years ago, and he bought $100 worth of Bitcoin 7 years ago, and I don't even want to tell you how much that's worth. And then, of course, John Jameson has some too. So it's supposed to be something big. It must be. Gator, you just answered your own question. When in doubt, stay out. That's #1 rule on my thing back here. Well, not #1. #1 is never add to a losing position, but #2 is when in doubt, stay out, because not having a position is having a position, because you're having the patience to wait, and see what's going to happen. So this is not an easy thing about the Bitcoin, so I'll let this go in the hands of the others. But as you can see, the euro here is we're getting down to this. The next level of support is a 117.40 level, I believe. And the euro is jumping around quite a bit, but so is the pound. And the pound, I still think we're trading around 134.14. We broke about 150 pips in the pound yesterday when they said that the Brexit thing was off the table, which is, total baloney. It's just like the Greek thing. They tell you one thing and mean another. So that's another thing that we're looking at here, is that I still think we got a chance to get up to this 61% retracement at the 138.60, but that'll take, probably some type of a Brexit agreement before any of that happens. So we'll see. This is all related to what they said in the news about the borders with Ireland and stuff. So that I'm not even sure. Someone's asking a question about the cattle. The cattle have been in a very have had a very bearish pattern. I'll show you this from the newsletter that we were watching this past week, because cattle, it starts with the G, doesn't it? There we go. Here, we'll see here, we've had a really bearish pattern forming in the cattle, and we were down sharply again yesterday. It looks like we want to get down to that 118 level, so that's another one that looks real interesting. Also, we had another entry. Hold on one second here, and we'll get this out of the way here. We had another one that happened last night that looked interesting, and that was in the corn yesterday. If you'll notice here, you go back to Gartley's book, to sell the ABCD corrections in a bear market, and you can see we had another one right here yesterday up around that 360 level, and we came down really hard. So we have to wait and see, what if there's going to be any support coming in here about 5 to 7 cents lower. Frankly, it looks like it wants to break that 345 level in March corn, but it's still too early, to take a look at it. So those are some of the ones that we're watching here right now. Okay, let's move on here to the gold market. Folks, we're trading it around, in Fed gold, we're trading it around 1271 right now. If we look at this really closely, no matter how you look at it, hold on, let's just see if we can get this up so that we can see it on the daily real easy. You'll be able to see it here. Hold on. It's only take a second, I hope, but the key word here is hope. So give me 1 second and we'll get it up here. You'll be able to see this. 1 second. I hope it will. There you go. You see, we're about 30 bucks lower at around the 1240 level. That's going to bring you into the 78% level of the July low, all right? And it's also going to be a nice little butterfly pattern coming in over the last 3 months. So it's, I don't want this thing to make $30 in one day. I'd rather see it happen, over a period of, 3 or 4 or 5 days. Remember, look here. Look at December here, folks. Go to December of last year. Look how the market bottomed down there before it rallied 250 points. And this is, this has got a chance to have one heck of a good rally, but we really need to wait for the 1240 level. That's my 2 cents worth. 877-927-6648.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Think or Swim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, brought to you by Nadex. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I want to put the chart in of the bonds here. By the way, I want to thank you guys for all the white light you sent for my good friend Bob Gilmillion, who was on his last legs. Believe it or not, Monday Night Football, I got a call from him. He was out of his coma and watching football. So he's recovered quite a bit. In fact, he's going to be moved back into the nursing home today. And so he's feeling a whole lot better. Boy, they almost wrote him off again. He has more lives than a cat. So far he's doing all right. Anyway, thank you very much for those prayers. I appreciate it. Here's the bonds, folks. We're trading around 153 and change right now. We still got a chance at that 156.12. We've held that low at 151.20. For quite a while now, considering all the crazy news that we've had. And if the stock market weakens up just a little bit, we could get what we think is a flight to quality up at that 156.12 level, which I think would be the best Christmas present that a short bond trader could ask for, because this is a longer-term bear market. There's I don't think anybody can argue about that, and we'll see if this is going to be the case or not. So watch it, very, very closely. We've had a question about the crude oil this morning. We were expecting the possibility of crude oil, getting ready to move down quite a bit, but we have not moved any. Let me just get this up here so we can take a look at it. You'll notice here in the crude oil, you need to get crude oil below $56 a barrel before anything really happens of any significance, and we're trading at 57 and change. So it's got to break more than $1 a barrel in order to scare any of the bulls. So if it does that, then you've got something pretty significant to happen. It has done virtually nothing, folks. I mean, we're within $2 of the high, and we've been here for 5 or 6 days. So this is not indicative of a top of any kind. So kind of watch that. That's a very interesting one, to really look at. Did the March copper got down to 297? Mr. Z, did March copper get down to 297? shut the front door and raise the rent. Boy, that thing is bullish. And yeah, well, that's right. You're right, Gator. Crude oil is at a very important spot right here. We're setting at that 78% level at 57.10. And see, it's still lower. Boy, this is a good one. Okay, we'll see what happens with it. But this is another reason why you don't want to, try to pick a bottom in this thing, because this wide-ranging bar, folks, those are one of the reasons why the ABCD patterns fail. Are because of those wide-ranging bars. And the other one, of course, is the gaps. And both of those are ones that you just don't want to mess with. So keep in mind that it's a pretty interesting one to take a look at, no matter what. Okay, so far we haven't really done very much. The S&P is still up on the day. The Dow is still up on the day, so there's not too much going on with either one of these, so we'll move on. The key one here to watch today, folks, is the gold market, because we're trading in Feb gold here at the 270 level. Anything, gosh darn, it's only $4 away. Well, now it's $3 away, breaking below that, and that's going to set it down to that 1240 level that we looked at. That we're trading at 1269 and change right now. And unless it churns right about here, which it doesn't look like it wants to, I would think that it's getting ready to take a flying Melinda down to that level, and that's when we really want to take a look at it. But again, you don't want to do it today because you don't want to buy on those real wide bar down days like you're looking at copper. That's like trying to catch a falling knife. I don't know if you guys ever played Mumbly Peg when you were a kid, but you got to wait till that knife hits the grass before you can pick it up. So don't try to buy the gold today if it breaks $30. It might be the thing to do, but not on my nickel. That's what I would wait. I would wait until you get some type of a pattern that would tell us, that it's okay. But we are at actually we're below the 78% level in that Feb gold, and silver still looks lower. I don't know if silver has broken below the can someone give me the last price on the March silver? Have we broken below $16 yet in March silver? Could someone tell me that? Because we're looking for around 15.70 in March silver, I believe, is a corresponding price that we're looking at here in the thing. No one's going to give me the price, so you're going to make me guess. So we'll see what's happened here. Okay, well, I'm glad you did okay in your copper, Cam. That's a good thing. Anyway, the crude oil did hold the 78%, 16.19, so it hasn't even broke 16 cents yet. So we'll see if it's $16, I mean. And if we can get it down to around 1560, I believe, is the number we're looking at. That's down about another 2,500. That would be equal to pretty close to what the gold would be. But we did hold the crude oil at the 78% level, which was 57.12. We got down to 57.03. We're trading at 57.49 right now. So that's another one that might have a good interest. Remember, folks, on Friday, we're going to have Norm Winsky on twice in 1 week as a special guest. He has some really interesting things to talk about astrology, the things that we have not seen in millenniums. Well, I don't know if it's that far, but it's something very, very rare that should be very, very important. So he wanted to explain to us then, and I said, buddy, you got the show. So he's going to be on at 9:30 on Friday, and it must be important because I've known him for 30-some years, and I've been doing the show with him here for a couple years, and he's never asked to come on twice in 1 week. So it must be something that it looks to be interesting to see if that's going to be the case here. Okay, that's what we're watching here so far, and we'll move on to the next one that someone's asking about, and that is the I just covered the bond market. I believe the bonds got a chance if it gets really hairy over there, and hairy, I guess that's a wrong word to use, gets real scary over there in the stock market, which they've never been scared before. You'd be looking at something that would tell us that we're up in the area where it could get a rally to 156.15. Folks, do you realize we've been up for 8 months without a correction in the stock market? That's an outlier event right there. So just watch it very, very closely here, because you saw a little bit of it yesterday in the Nasdaq. Let me just show you a bearish pattern, folks. I brought this up. I was listening to Tom O'Brien this morning, and I wanted just to show you. Here's the Nasdaq. Just take a look at this. We're talking about wide-ranging bars. Look at this. Yeah, well, I don't know. The Bloomberg reported it as 8 months. I think there was, I did not see a down month, but they said they did. You know, we'll see. Okay, move this over here. You'll see the Nasdaq Composite yesterday. We made new highs, of course, in everything except the Nasdaq, and the Nasdaq reversed. And you notice if we get much lower, another 40 points today, you're going to be breaking out the low of that first gap. And boy, that's a go back here, folks. The last time we had a really bad day like this was back in June, and the market didn't bottom until July. So kind of pay attention to it. But remember the old Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times, because we certainly do now. So we'll be watching it very closely. This Mercury retrograde and supermoon stuff is big time stuff, and I think it's really important to pay attention, and we'll get it to you. Anyway, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Basil Chapman will be hosting a full-day Master Trader class Friday, December 8th from 9 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. This live 7.5-hour online class will teach you the complete concepts of Basil's Chapman Wave trading methodology, along with a variety of indicators and charting patterns that Basil uses on a daily basis, including the concept of higher peaks and lower troughs, the importance of the Peak D, buy and sell modes, sustaining rallies and declines, MACD, stochastic, moving averages, on-balance volume, and much more. Everyone that attends will also receive Basil's CD book introducing the Chapman Wave methodology, a $249 value, along with 1 month of his daily trading newsletter, The Opening Call, a $128 value. Basil will be using live charts where and when possible in the webinar to show the concepts of his trading methodology, which works on all time frames. For all the details and to reserve your spot today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, I posted the chart from my good friend Bert Doman from Doman Capital Research. Basically comes from the CFTC. It shows that when speculators get into the crude oil market, it has a tendency to fall. And as you can see, net speculation has risen to highest levels in over a couple of years, the last 3 years, so it's due for a correction. Now, remember, this is all based on probability, it has nothing to do with certainty. So the oil has held the $57 a barrel so far. I think that's important, but the $56 a barrel is by far more important than that. So you'll see it's very good. Anyway, be sure to listen to Steve Rhodes' show today, folks. He's got some really great information about how the market reacts when we have these repatriation of money, and it's really historical stuff that you really ought to listen. It puts its statistics, which is very interesting, and the market does operate on statistics quite a bit. So try to listen to Steve's show. He's got some really great information, like he always does. And Steve, by the way, you really do have a whole lot of stuff that is very, very valuable. I enjoy when I get to listen to your show, which isn't often because that's my busiest time of the day, and I hardly ever get to hear Basil because that's when I'm really busy. But both those guys have, great information. In fact, everybody at TFNN offers something, and that's why being in the den is really important. And these shows are archived, so it's pretty good. Well, we've got some gaps still out on the Dow. Whether they start to work or not, we'll wait and see. One more bad down day in the composite will certainly tell us that we're really looking into the area. So we'll see if it's going to happen. Anyway, I didn't realize natural gas got down here to below 3 again. Be really careful down here, folks, because that's a real critical level in natural gas. It's a really it really ought to hold. If it doesn't, boy, it's got nothing but air under it. So be careful. 877-927-6648.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks!